Hi guys, I'm Laura Vitale. On this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I want to share with you something simple but absolutely decadent and a real classic, really. This is my glazed brownies. Now, I wasn't going to share this recipe because it's really easy and it's just using my Chewy brownies, which I've shared with you in the past. But I figured it'd be a crime not to share some chocolatey goodness. And these are actually a real classic. A lot of people call them either cafeteria brownies or whatnot, but they are just delightful. So I'm going to share them with you because they are perfect for a weekend treat, and they pack, you can pack them up and to give them to somebody, and they stay really, really well. So the ingredients you'll need for the base of the brownies is very easy and basic ingredients: chocolate chips, cocoa powder, instant espresso, salt, all-purpose flour, granulated sugar, unsalted butter, and a couple of eggs. That's all you need for the brownies, and then I'll share with you the glaze recipe in just a little bit. So I've got my oven preheated to 350, 8 by 8 inch baking pan ready and waiting with some parchment paper and some nonstick spray. And here's a good tip: when you're making brownies or anything that you have to lift out of the pan, make sure that your parchment paper comes up the sides a few inches. That way you can just lift it, and it makes it for really easy removal of the brownies or the blondies or whatever you're deciding to make. Easy peasy, just you wait. In my saucepan, no machinery, no nothing, just a good old wooden spoon, perhaps a spatula, and a bowl. In a saucepan, you're going to add your butter and your chocolate chips, and you're going to put this on the stove top and let these melt together over about medium-low heat. Don't let anything boil or burn. Just do this on low and slow, and all you're looking to do is melt the chocolate and the butter. This is not the time to get on the phone with your girlfriend and start gossiping about anybody else. You need to stay right here with your wooden spoon and just keep an eye on it and give it a stir every few seconds. You just don't want to, you want to make sure the bottom doesn't scorch, because chocolate can burn quite easily, and we want to eliminate that, because once you burn chocolate, there is absolutely no coming back from it. So I'm just going to keep an eye on this, let it melt, and then let it cool slightly, and then we'll proceed. This looks fantastic. Tell me you don't want to just stick your face in there, because I do. Okay, I've let that melt, and I've also let it cool for just a few minutes. I don't want anything to be piping hot because I don't want to scramble my eggs. Funny story, very first time I ever made brownies, I scrambled my eggs in a chocolate mixture. That's a long time ago though. I've evolved, I promise. Okay, so this is looking good. At this point, this is how easy it is. You add everything else in here. It's really easy, along with your eggs. And then either using your wooden spoon or your spatula, I don't really care what you use. I just want you to mix everything together until you've got a gorgeous, gorgeous chocolate brownie mixture. Smooth this out. This is going to go into your oven that's been preheated, or my oven that's been preheated at 350 for about 40 to 45 minutes, or until they are fully cooked through. Let them cool completely, and then we'll glaze them. My brownies were in the oven for 40 minutes, and I've let them cool pretty much completely. They're still slightly warm, which is good, because then the glaze is going to stick to it really well. Now, to make the glaze, we just have a few simple ingredients. You're going to start off with some confectioner's sugar, some cocoa powder, a really small tiny pinch of salt, salted butter that's been softened at room temperature. This was actually on my stove with the oven on, and a little bit of milk. Very simple, very easy, but together just make for an amazing brownie. Now you're just going to mix together the dry ingredients here. It does not matter if it's perfect, because once you start working in the butter and then the milk, you will be fine. Now the first thing you're going to do is just take your butter, and you're just going to mix this throughout the cocoa powder and the confectioner's sugar mixture. You want to work this in well before you start adding in the milk, and really the amount of milk is going to vary depending on how thin or how thick you want your glaze to be. I don't like mine to be too thick, and this is really, you want it to be almost like a mix between a glaze and a frosting. So you don't want it to be too runny, because then it'll never set, but you also don't want it to be too thick. So just start adding a little bit at a time, and then mix it in until you get your desired consistency. This looks good. Just gonna pour this on my brownies. Look at that. You know that's gonna be phenomenal. You know it. And that pinch of salt, I know it looks odd, sounds odd, but it really makes this shine, because there's so much sweetness going on with all of that sugar. The salt almost makes everything come to life, and it makes everything just taste like it should, if that makes any sense. All I'm doing is just using a small offset spatula just to spread this evenly from corner to corner because I don't want a single bite of my brownie without frosting on it, because that's just how I roll, my friend. Okay, now it's really important that this sets, because you can't cut it like this. It needs to set for a while. So I'm going to let this set, and then I will show you what it looks like when we cut into it. My brownies set completely. I stabbed that part. I'm really sorry about that. I lifted them right out of the pan, and I'm ready to cut and serve. I will say that if you keep a wet, clean cloth or a towel or whatever near you, it's nice to sort of clean off your wipe off your knife as you cut these so that you don't make a giant mess. Not that I really care, because it's just going to be delicious. Let's get into these babies. Yes. See, just wipe that like so. Make sure it's nice and clean. These look gorgeous. You can see the fudginess right there. Yeah, there are times where being impatient really pays off. This is one of those times. That's everything I wanted, and then some. It's rich, it's fudgy yet chewy, it's deep. It is the brownie of my dreams, in my hand, in my mouth. We're all so happy. That's all I'm trying to say. And they're really easy too. A super easy classic that you can put together with no effort whatsoever. I made a rhyme. I shall reward myself with a brownie. Go to laurainthekitchen.com. I can't believe I made a rhyme. Like, that never happened. Go to I'm going to tell everybody about this. Go to laurainthekitchen.com to get the written recipe. Make them, share a picture on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever you fancy. Hope you enjoy spending time with me. Tell your friends I made a rhyme. Just tell them about it, because it was pretty good. Hope you enjoy spending time with me. I'll see you next time. Bye.